Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Colin or Wallow. Just wanted to come on here today and make a video about some food swaps you can make if you're in a calorie deficit trying to lose weight. If you haven't watched my previous video, go ahead and watch it. It was every tip I had for losing weight as someone who has. But yeah, before we get into the video, I've got 55 food swaps for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and rate them 1 through 10 also based on how much I like them. But yeah, I've got an Instagram, a Twitter. This is my YouTube. I've got a Discord in the description if you guys want to ever shoot me messages on there. And I also stream video games on Twitch. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, feel free to drop me a follow. Alright, so we're going to get into 55 food swaps for fat loss. So first up, we've got milk. I've actually got 3 options for milk. First is non-fat milk, which you can pretty much find anywhere, and I think this is a really good swap. You're lowering the fat content a lot, and you're upping the protein, so this is definitely a good swap. I'm going to rate it a 7 out of 10. Another milk swap you could do, though, is almond milk. So almond milk is actually way less calories if you get the unsweetened kind, and it's only about 30 calories a cup versus 150 for whole milk. But the problem is you're getting rid of that protein. You're not getting that protein intake for milk, which is what most people drink milk for. And so those are both good options, and they're both good budget options. But my personal favorite option, if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, is fat-free Fairlife milk. It's 80 calories, 13 grams of protein. It tastes really good. It kind of has a vanilla taste to it. Only problem with this is it's a little bit more expensive. It kind of gives off a little bit of protein shake vibes. But yeah, highly recommend fat-free Fairlife milk. Just a little bit on the pricier side, but because of its taste and its macros, I have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Next swap I have up is regular yogurt. So a lot of regular yogurts are loaded with sugar. They have a ton of sugar in them, and that's what makes their calorie to protein ratio so bad. So I recommend swapping it with a non-fat plain Greek yogurt. You can do Chobani or Great Value or whatever brand you have, but anything that meets that 100 calories to 18 grams of protein ratio, or ish, right? You can also get a non-fat Greek yogurt that's flavored like vanilla or strawberry, and those are great options too. Or you can sweeten your non-fat plain Greek yogurt with something like honey or sweetener. That's also a great option. I'm gonna rate this one a 9.5 out of 10. Sour cream to light sour cream, yeah, it's just about half the calories. To me, it tastes the exact same, and the price is pretty similar too. Like, I literally can't notice the taste difference at all. I would say do the swap if you can find it. If you can find the light sour cream, just get it. And it's about half the calories, and I rated it a 6 out of 10, but in hindsight, I think I would rate it a little bit higher. I think I rated it a little low just because, it's not that much of a calorie difference, only 25 calorie difference per serving. So, yeah, I would recommend doing the swap if you have the ability to in your grocery store. Next swap I have is cream cheese for, less fat cream cheese. I rated this a 5 out of 10 because you can't really taste the difference, maybe a little bit. But, calories aren't going to go down a whole lot. There's still, a decent amount of fat in there per serving, that is. So, I would say make the swap if you can, like if you can find it. But, it doesn't do all that much. There's swaps that are going to make more of a health conscious or calorie deficit conscious decision. So, yeah, next swap I have up is protein cereal. And me personally, I'm not a fan of protein cereal. To me, it's just the taste. The macros are insane, obviously. 180 calories on this Premier Protein for 20 grams of protein, but it's just the taste. Like, at first it tastes good, and then the taste slowly gets to you, and then the texture gets to you. It just tastes like sand. I would recommend giving it a go yourself. I'm just not someone who enjoys this. Like, the first bowl is good, and then every bowl after that is just like, man, I can't even stomach this anymore. So I would rate protein cereal 3.5 out of 10, but really try it. I mean, everything is going to be subjective to different people. So yeah, go ahead and give it a go for yourself. Just buy one box though. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Finish it though. Don't let that food go to waste. All right, next swap we've got up is ice cream. So this is for like Halo Top or Nix or any low calorie ice cream brand like that. My rating is actually pretty low. Some of them taste okay. A lot of them don't taste good, and some taste just okay. I can't say it tastes great. Because mainly it's just the sugar alcohol and the fiber in there just make it taste not like ice cream. It tastes a little like ice cream, but then it messes with your gut too. It doesn't make your gut feel good. I would say like instead of trying to eat these Halo Top pints, maybe eat just a little bit of ice cream with something that's a little bit healthier you can pair it with, like non-fat plain Greek yogurt or something like that. Yeah, but these Halo Top, Nix, and these low-calorie ice cream brands, I'm not really a fan. The taste just gets so rough after a while, and it gets kind of hard to stomach them. But I do have one that I like, and that's Greek yogurt bars or Greek yogurt ice cream. So like these Greek yogurt bars, for example, they're only 70 calories a bar, and these actually do taste really good. I've had almost all these flavors from Yasso. There's a few other brands out there like Enlightened, but I found Yasso to be my favorite. If you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit, having one or two of these aren't gonna ruin your calorie deficit whatsoever, and you're actually getting some protein in there too, as you see 6 grams of protein for 70 calories. So these are an amazing option. The only problem is they're a little bit expensive. So if you're willing to spend that extra dime, I highly recommend buying these. But the best ice cream swap I would recommend is just buying a Ninja Creami. I personally don't have one myself, although I might be getting one soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. But while the price of the Ninja Creami itself might be scary at first, right? It's like $200-ish, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on where you see it. Think about how much money you're spending on like protein ice cream over the years, when you could just buy like one Ninja Creami and just make ice cream for like like $1 a pint, right? So I think there's tons of Ninja Creami recipes out there. You can use almond milk, oat milk, fat-free milk, or if you're on a bulk, whole milk. Add whatever toppings you like. There's endless possibilities. Freeze them; they're ready to go whenever. Make 7 at a time, or whatever. I think Ninja Creamies are they're great, and there's so much customization. Besides the machine itself, it's the cheapest option. But yeah, highly recommend if you have the funds to get a Ninja Creami. Fat-free cheese instead of real cheese. So this is just one I'm kind of throwing on there because I know it exists. However, I have never once in my life been to a grocery store and been able to find fat-free cheese. I've never been able to find it, no matter what. I go to Walmart, Vons, Raley's, like Target, whatever, and I can't find it anywhere. So I can't really rate this one, but maybe give it a go if you can find a bag of it. I personally can't rate it. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it. Some people think it's disgusting. I have a feeling I would think it's disgusting. Just based off the macros, like it just sounds too good to be true. But cheese itself, like regular cheese, isn't like bad for you. It's just high in calories if you use too much. So like I would say just eat regular cheese and eat less of it. But I can't really rate this because I haven't had it. So yeah. Moving on, talking about whipped cream. If you can find this fat-free whipped cream from the same brand, Ready Whip, it's about a third of the calories, and it tastes just as good. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9.5 out of 10, only losing that half mark because it's not like a crazy calorie difference, but it's good for what it is. Like, this is a swap you should make if you can. So yeah, moving on. Coffee creamer. If you can find the sugar-free coffee creamer, it's about a third of the calories, and to me, it tastes just as good. I would say just go with the sugar-free option. About the same price too. So go with the sugar-free option if you can find it. Okay, so this is a popular one. Egg whites instead of eggs. Um, Obviously, the protein on egg whites is way better than just regular eggs. Eggs are still good protein, but if you eat strictly egg whites, it's way more protein. I only rated it a 5.5 out of 10 because the fats in the eggs, those are good for you, and those are healthy fats, and they contain a ton of vitamins and minerals. Um, so I would say, like, if you're in a calorie deficit and you're trying to volume eat more, I would actually do half eggs, half egg whites, and kind of make sure you're eating those egg yolks still. But if you need the protein and you need the volume, add some more egg whites, because that's really going to help. So instead of doing full egg whites, I would say do half and half. That's really my suggestion. Okay, next up is bacon. And obviously bacon's really high in fat, not so high in protein for being a meat. And the calories add up quickly with bacon. But turkey bacon is actually 40 instead of 90 calories. It's half the calories and same amount of protein. Turkey bacon's a great option. It's totally a different taste. It tastes nothing like regular bacon, so you really just gotta try it out and see if you like it. I personally do like turkey bacon, and I'm a fan of it. So this is something I eat. Reason I gave it a 7 out of 10 is because it's only missing those marks because it just doesn't taste similar to regular bacon. So go ahead and give it a go and see if you like it. And similarly, beef bacon. Beef bacon's pretty hard to find. I couldn't find it for the longest time in my grocery stores, and I only recently found it at a Walmart near me. Beef bacon, I'd say it's the same thing as turkey bacon, not in terms of taste, but in terms of functionality. Like, it tastes completely different than regular pork bacon, and it has similar macros to turkey bacon. And both of them taste good. I buy both, and I'll just eat them at different days of the week. But yeah, give beef bacon a go. Definitely harder to find, but if you can find it, I think it's worth the shot. Okay, sausages. Swap in for chicken sausages. Same thing here. You're just lowering the fat content. Fat is 9 calories per gram. Carbohydrates and proteins are 4 calories per gram. So fats are the highest in calories, and this is just lowering the fat content. So I rate this an 8 out of 10. Chicken sausages still taste really good. Not as good as pork sausages, obviously, because all that fat gives it more flavor. But chicken sausages are a great swap, and I highly recommend doing them. Okay, next up we have like regular pancakes and waffles, and swapping it for Kodiak cakes. I'm gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's a good swap, but I think you kind of have to have realistic expectations about what it's going to taste like. They definitely, to me, the comparison I would make is like eating like white bread and wheat bread. Like, pancakes are like white bread, tastes really good, super fluffy, a lot of sugar in there. And then Kodiak cakes are kind of like wheat bread, they're pancakes with a little bit more fiber, a little bit less sugar, a little bit more protein. They taste good for what they are, but you can't expect them to taste like a regular pancake. They're definitely a lot thicker, and they have that wheat taste. But I like Kodiak cakes. They're good. You got to see if you like the taste of them. I personally do, and I recommend them. Give Kodiak cakes a go. I'm a fan, but I could understand why other people aren't. But I think this is a good option for weight loss and a calorie deficit. Okay, next up is bread for keto bread. I'm personally not a fan, and it comes down to two things. It's the cost. They're 3 times the price of a regular loaf of bread, and the taste. The taste just can get so bad. It tastes so grainy, like so unnatural. And we don't really need like a keto bread. Like, bread serves its own purpose, right? It's a quick acting carbohydrate, easy to digest, good for quick energy. And like, I understand the reasoning for wanting to swap it for a keto bread. Like, if you like the taste of keto bread, I think it's good to do sometimes, but overall, I think bread kind of serves its own purpose. I would rather just eat like a healthy sourdough bread than swap it for keto bread. While the macros are much better with the keto bread, it's just the taste and the cost for me. But I recommend this. This is kind of similar to the protein cereal, where it tastes good at first, and then you kind of continue to eat it and you realize that you no longer like the taste of it. So, this is something I would give it a go. Buy a small loaf if you can and try it out. But it's definitely not for everyone. It's definitely not for me. Okay, next swap. Swapping flour tortillas for carb balanced tortillas. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. A lot more fiber, a lot less carbohydrates. You've also got a little bit more protein in these. And they taste pretty good. You can't say they taste as good as regular tortillas, but they taste pretty good. And my only issue with these carb balanced tortillas is I don't feel like they're big enough. Like, I feel like they should be way bigger. Like, I try to make burritos with these, and they're just not big enough for burritos. But at the same time, they're too big for tacos. And it's just like my one gripe with these tortillas. So like, I love these carb balanced tortillas. I recommend giving it a go. I'm going to rate them an 8 out of 10. Only losing points because they just don't taste exactly the same, but they taste pretty good. So, all right. Next swap is this is just a cooking method swap. So instead of deep frying potatoes in oil, you should just air fry them or bake them in the oven with cooking spray. You're saving all the calories from that oil, and they taste the same, if not better, when they're air fried or baked. If you can make that health conscious decision to not, eat deep fried food, you should. Doesn't mean you should avoid it all the time. It's just unrealistic to say I'm never going to eat a regular French fry again. But if you can avoid it, you bake them yourself or put them in the air fryer. Next food is white rice for cauliflower rice, and I ranked this pretty low. I ranked it a 2 out of 10, and the reason for that is it is much lower in calories, but it doesn't. All right, A, it doesn't taste good. B, it's pretty expensive depending on where you buy it. And C, rice serves its own, kind of like bread, rice serves its own purpose. It's meant to be a carbohydrate. Like, that's what it is. And, if you're volume eating and you like the taste of cauliflower rice, you got to realize you're just eating cauliflower ground up. Like, you're just eating vegetables. And, you have to view it as such. You can't treat it as a replacement for rice. It's not going to give you the carbohydrates you need for energy. It's like not the worst thing. If it was higher in calories, I probably would have given it a 0 out of 10. Because it just doesn't taste that great. It tastes okay. If you want to try it, give it a go. But, white rice isn't bad for you. Only a lot of white rice is bad for you on a cut, right? Because you got to keep in mind carbs add up quickly because they're easy to eat. So, cauliflower rice is basically just ground up cauliflower. I wouldn't even call it rice. But yeah, both are good, but there's just no need for it. Like, rice just eat rice and a meat and cauliflower. Like, it's not replacing the role of rice. It's just making you eat your veggies. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of water real quick before we continue. Well, I dropped that on the floor. I'll get that later. Next swap is regular pasta for protein pasta. This one's okay. It's more expensive and it's harder to find, but you get a little bit more protein. It's made from lentils or chickpeas or pea proteins most of the time. The only thing with protein pasta is if you can overcook it really easily. When you cook protein pasta, you have to make sure you cook it al dente, or else it'll just fall apart from all the pea and lentil protein. With that said, though, this brand specifically, Barilla, tastes really good. It tastes the same as regular pasta to me. I eat it all the time. A little bit more protein than normal. I recommend giving it a go. Just make sure you don't overcook it. It's also pretty hard to find, but you can also buy this off Amazon. That's what I do, actually, is I couldn't find it in stores, so I just bought it off Amazon. It's actually cheaper on Amazon with Amazon Prime than it is at the grocery store, so that's always an option for you. Kind of similar to pasta, next up we have mac and cheese. This company, specifically Goodles, is really good. They have a lot more protein in their mac and cheese. I wouldn't call Goodles a protein food. They're just higher in protein with a similar amount of calories. And they actually taste good, because that's the important part, right? Like, if you want one of these diet hacks, like protein food, you want it to taste good, right? Like, you don't want to eat a protein bar and have it taste like shit, and then have to, next time you want to eat one, like, have to think about how it tastes like shit, but it's good for you. Like, Goodles actually tastes good, and it's higher in protein, pretty similar calories to one of these boxed mac and cheeses. So yeah, I recommend giving Goodles a try. It's something that's hard to find, but again, you can buy this on Amazon with Amazon Prime. That's usually how I do it. So, all right. Next is just swapping ribeye steak for a sirloin steak. All this is less fat. It's just less beef tallow. Um, you know, beef tallow is not bad for you, but when you're in a calorie deficit and you're trying to lose weight, you need to be minimizing fat as much as you can. So we go from 280 calories, 22 grams of protein, to 150 calories, 24 grams of protein. Obviously, that depends on the cut of meat, but making those calorie conscious swaps when you can. And also, if you're downing sirloin steak in olive oil or butter, it's kind of defeating the purpose of cooking it like this. Just get some spray oil, spray your pan, and just cook it by itself. Same thing here. Don't want to spend too much time on it. 80% lean, 20% fat ground beef to 96.4 or 93.7 ground beef, whatever you can find. The leanest ground beef you can find. Minimizing the fat. Again, fat's 9 calories per gram. Carbs and proteins are 4. So not fats are the highest in calories, and you're gonna want to try to minimize fats when you're on a cut. When you're on a weight loss journey. So yeah, swapping that 80-20 ground beef for 96.4, as you can see, a huge difference. 290 calories, 19 grams of protein versus 140 calories, 24 grams of protein. Major difference there. Same thing with ground turkey. Only reason I have it a little bit lower is because the calorie jump isn't as high. But yeah, definitely make the swap to leaner when you're on a weight loss journey. Same thing with chicken thighs, less fat. Swapping over to chicken breast is less fat, higher in protein. Going to make you eat more for the same amount of calories and feel more full. I have it a little bit lower though at 6.5, because you can totally eat chicken breasts on a cut and be just fine, or maybe have a mixture of chicken breasts and, you can eat chicken thighs on a cut and be just fine. Or you could just have a mixture of both, and, like, you can totally eat chicken thighs on a cut. 170 calories for 19 grams of protein is still really good. But yeah, if you're really trying to make the most of your cut, you're gonna want to lean towards those chicken breasts. All right, next up, this has got to be one of my favorite on the list, is swapping your regular chicken nuggets, which aren't that high in calories, for these chicken breast chunks. Super high in protein. 160 calories, 16 grams of protein. There's actually another brand. I think it's called. Don't quote me if I get this wrong, but I think it's called like Real Good Food or something. Anyways, the package is like white and orange, and those are even higher in protein. But most importantly, these chicken breast chunks honestly taste better than chicken nuggets. They taste so good. I don't know how they do it, where they have the macros so good but make them taste so good. So plop those in the air fryer, and those are amazing. All right, moving on. We have butter to butter spray. I have this at a 6 out of 10, and the reason is, I only have it that high because it helps you with portion control, right? If you have butter spray, unless you sit there spraying it constantly, you're not going to be able to use like a full serving of butter or even close. You're probably only using 20-30 calories. But the two gripes I have with butter spray is that it's not actually butter. As you see in the ingredients, we have water, soybean oil, salt, sweet cream buttermilk, right? Xanthan gum. It's not actually butter. It's a compound made to taste like butter. But it's not necessarily bad for you. It's just like not butter. And my other gripe is it says 0 calories on the packaging, but everyone knows it's not actually 0 calories. That's just because they're counting one spray, and if it's 5 calories or less, I think they're allowed to mark it as 0 calories. So excuse me. Um, yeah, marketing misleading, and then also it's just not butter. So I've got it out of 6. And then we've got, olive oil spray or whatever, kind of oil you want to use. Same thing here, just a little bit of misleading marketing. It's not actually 0 calories, but that's because it's a 4th second spray, or 0.25 grams, and they're allowed to round down. But again, these spray oils and spray butters, they're going to help you with portion control. So instead of, using 200 calories of oil to coat the pan really heavily, you're going to be able to use 20-30 calories of oil to coat the pan, lightly. So helping you with portion control there. Mayo to light mayo, it's like 1/3 of the calories, same price. Tastes basically the same. I would say make the swap. Not much to it. Less fat than normal mayo, as we see 10 grams of fat versus 3 grams of fat in a tablespoon for both. So this is similar to like cream cheese or sour cream. This is just a swap I would make. Same thing here. Ranch to light ranch. It's just less in fat. So definitely a swap I would make too. I will say though, light ranch definitely tastes a little different. Definitely has a little bit more artificial taste. Something you can also do is get non-fat plain Greek yogurt and use the ranch seasoning packets and make your own kind of ranch. Maybe water it down a little bit so it's not so thick. But yeah, you can make your own ranch with that. It doesn't taste exactly the same, but I'd say it tastes pretty good. Make these swaps if you can. Same thing here, barbecue sauce. It's just less in sugar instead of fat this time. This G. Hughes brand, the sugar-free barbecue sauce, tastes really good. I highly recommend giving this a go. 80 calories or 70 calories versus 10. That's 1/7 of the calories. That's a great swap to make. It doesn't taste obviously exactly the same because it's not loaded with sugar like most barbecue sauces are, but this is a great swap to make too. Next we've got sugar-free ketchup, and I actually don't like sugar-free ketchup. It tastes unbelievably salty to me, to the point where I can't even enjoy eating it. And it's not that much of a calorie difference. It's 20 to 10 calories. Like, it's half, but is it really half, right? Because, like, you gotta think about those 10 calories. Like, they're probably rounding down. Like, it's probably closer. To, like, 15. So, like, it tastes much, much worse, in my opinion. And you're not getting that much of a calorie difference. So, it's up to you. Make your judgment. Ketchup's already not like super high in calories compared to other sauces. So, maybe try it, see if you like it, and then if you do, keep with it. But if you don't, like me, this is a no-go personally. Microwave popcorn to like a Smart Pop. So this is just basically getting microwave popcorn without all that butter. If it doesn't have a ton of butter, it's going to be way less in fats. Make the swap to the Smart Pop. It doesn't taste as good, right, as you'll imagine, because it's not coated in butter. But it's much, much, much lower in calories, like 1/5 of the calories. So popcorn's one of those foods you can volume eat, kind of like I talked about in my last video. We want to make sure we're volume eating when we're trying to lose weight. So Smart Pop is a great option. This isn't like a direct switch, but like crackers, I have Ritz on here, but like this goes for any kind of cracker. Switching over for rice cakes, it's not an exact swap, but it's kind of similar. I've seen people compare them before. The thing about rice cakes is they just taste way worse. Like, they don't have that good taste. There's some flavors that are okay. Like, I like the chocolate and the apple cinnamon one. But other than that, I've really never been able to find a rice cake flavor I like. I would just treat rice cakes as their own food versus a swap for, like, these crackers, because they're just not really comparable. But I see this comparison being made all the time, so I felt like I should address it. I like rice cakes. I like the chocolate and the apple cinnamon, but other than that, it's pretty hard to stomach them. But these Ritz crackers, obviously, as you see, 5 crackers is 80 calories. Like, think about how many calories you could consume while you just sit there and binge eat Ritz crackers. You know, and then imagine adding peanut butter and stuff too. Think about the calories adding up there. So, rice cakes are a good low calorie, calorie deficit conscious choice to make. So yeah, I would say consider trying it and try the different flavors of rice cakes. These protein cookies, there's Quest, there's Lenny and Larry's, there's a few others. All of them are shit. I've never had one that I've enjoyed. If you want to make a protein cookie, make them from home. Make them with oats, banana, egg, Greek yogurt, like whatever you want to add. Like, make your own cookies from home. If you want a healthier cookie, but don't eat these Lenny's and Larry's. Don't eat these Quest cookies. They all taste so bad. They taste like I'm eating sand. I would not recommend any of these. On the other hand, though, there's a company called Hummus Fit, I believe, and they make these Buffin muffins. And I've actually never had them, but I am going to be getting them for Christmas, so I'm going to be trying them, and maybe I'll make some videos, some Instagram shorts or something of me trying the Buffin muffins. But I've heard from everyone that they're insane, like insanely good. I've never heard a bad thing about them. But do keep in mind, though, that, it's still a 350, 400 calorie snack. So you can't treat it as, like, an everyday thing. Well, I guess you could if you had one a day at night and you saved calories for it. But you got to be sparingly when you eat these because they're not going to fill you up a ton. Yeah, but this is a swap you can make. Only downside with these is they're really expensive. They cost like $6 a muffin. So if you're willing to pay the price to try them, feel free to do so. You just order online. But yeah, this is a good swap to make from what I've heard. They're just expensive, so it's probably not something you're going to be including on the regular. Okay, soda to diet soda. This is probably like the easiest switch you can make. Like, if I could tell anyone to make one switch when trying to lose weight, it's stop drinking full sugar soda. It's so easy to consume, 52 grams of sugar in like 10 seconds. That's 200 calories. That is not going to satiate you at all. Switch to the diet soda if you can. It's way less in calories. As you see, they're 0 or close to 0, right? Like under 5. And there's not a huge taste difference. Obviously there's a small taste difference, but not a huge one. Same thing with lemonade. Switch to a 0 sugar one if you can, if you like the taste. Same thing with juice. Switch to a 0 sugar one if you can and you like the taste. Energy drinks too. I actually think, for like Monster specifically, I actually think the 0 sugar ones taste better. I think the regular Monster tastes like battery acid. That's just me though. But yeah, I like these white Monsters better than I do the full sugar ones that are 230 calories. I'd rather have the one for 10. So yeah, switch to the 0 sugar ones if you can. Same thing with Gatorade, or any electrolyte drinks like Liquid IV, for example. They have a 0 sugar. They have a 0 sugar flavor. Switch to those. And this is talking about alcohol for anyone over 21 in the U.S. or whatever your legal drinking age is. Obviously, alcohol isn't ideal when you're trying to lose weight. It's very high in calories and not great for the cut, as they would say. But if you are going to, here's some swaps you can make. Swap like a regular beer for a light beer. There's a 40 calorie difference there, 45 calorie difference. Those add up over time. If you like fruity alcohol, switch from a Twee, which is 200 calories a can, to a hard seltzer, which is like 100 calories a can, almost half. Like flavored liquor, like I think of like Pink Whitney, Malibu, stuff like that with a ton of sugar. Switch to like a more plain tequila or plain vodka. Those are usually your lowest in calories, if you are going to have any. And then, yeah, this has kind of been one of the themes of the video. If you can switch from, using regular sugar to any kind of sweetener, it doesn't have an identical taste, but it has a pretty similar taste. So, if you're willing to try it, go ahead and give it a go. So, yeah. Pepperoni, switching to turkey pepperoni. This is kind of similar to, like, bacon, right? Because they're both made of pork. it's kind of similar to switching from bacon to turkey bacon. It doesn't taste exactly the same, but I'd still say it tastes really good, and the macros are much better. You know, you're getting much more protein and much less fat. So, as we see, 140 calories, 6 grams of protein versus 80 calories, 9 grams of protein for the same amount of slices. So, if you like the taste, this is a swap I would say you can make on a regular basis. Chocolate syrup. 1 tablespoon of sugar, full sugar chocolate syrup is 45 calories, and 1 tablespoon of sugar free is 5, so 1/9 of the calories. The only thing is it doesn't taste anywhere near identical. In fact, it tastes much different. So I would say this is something you kind of have to try and see if you like. If you like it, make the swap, but if not, just make sure to use the full sugar one in heavy moderation, or else those calories can add up quickly. Donuts, switching to protein donuts. This one's like this one's kind of like the protein cookies. They just don't taste the same, and it's hard to stomach them sometimes. Like, it tastes like you're eating sand or like you're eating grass. The texture is just super dry. Some people like them, and I'll like them like once every few months. Like, if I really want something sweet and I'm in a calorie deficit, like, I'll have one. But I don't think this is something I could eat on a weekly basis. They just don't taste that great. I'd rather just eat like 150 calorie donut once a week than eat one of these. It's not gonna make a huge difference, and I'm gonna enjoy my food way more. So yeah, brownies, switching over to Fiber One brownies. These aren't directly comparable. Obviously, a full fudge chocolate brownie isn't going to taste like a Fiber One brownie, but Fiber One brownies are really good. They get you a ton of fiber too, and they're a good little snack for 70 calories, and they taste good, and they're a good dessert. So I would highly recommend giving Fiber One brownies a go. They're quite delicious in my opinion, and they're only 70 calories a pop, so you can eat like 3 of them, and it's like 210 calories. It's totally fine. So I recommend giving this a go. Sugar-free frosting. I haven't had this one in a long time, so it was kind of hard for me to rate it, but it's only 40 calories less from the looks of it. Not a huge calorie difference, but you can go ahead and give it a go, see if you like it. I feel like, though, like, frosting is only used for cakes, right? And if you're gonna make a cake for someone's birthday, who wants to make it with 0 sugar frosting? Like, that's, unless your friend is a gym rat or something, right? So I haven't had this one in a long time, so it was kind of hard to rank, but go ahead and give it a go. It could taste very similar with a few less calories. So yeah. Next up I have is Jello, or like the pudding from Jello, like their pudding packets or their Jello packets. If you switch over to the 0 sugar ones, it's so many less calories. And going back to our topic of volume eating that I talked about in the last video. Oh, this is wrong, by the way. This should not say 1 out of 10. This should say like 8 or 9. I forgot to type that in, but making the swap, you can eat, think about it like this, right? Like, you can eat 7 times the amount of sugar-free Jello than you can like one box of regular Jello for the same amount of calories. And so you're going to be able to volume eat. It still tastes really good. And switching to sugar-free Jello / pudding from the Jello company, I would highly recommend for a sweet treat. And I think this is my last one. Switching honey mustard for regular mustard. Honey mustard is usually loaded with sugar, and it's a ton of calories. Like, this one's 130. This is a wrong food label. All right, ignore that. That's for pretzels, I think. But honey mustard's usually really high in calories with a ton of sugar. But if you switch over to regular mustard, does it taste anything like honey mustard? No. But is it a good swap because it's 0 calories? Yes. This is kind of just, do you like mustard? And that's, everyone has a different opinion. So yeah, this is every food swap that I could think of in my brain. and I could get inspiration from ChatGPT. If you have any food swaps in the comments that I didn't name, go ahead and mention them for everyone watching, that's trying to learn for some food swaps for a calorie deficit. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these food swaps. Let me know which ones you guys really would recommend and really like, and which one you guys think are terrible. Like for me, I hate sugar-free ketchup and keto bread. But yeah, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments, and I appreciate. Oh my gosh, appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully this helps some of you guys. So yeah, have a good one.